You're trying to learn a skill, you're trying to learn a language, or you're trying to learn a particular subject, and everything seems difficult. It seems as if you don't have the ability to learn these things. Right here on today's video, I'm going to be showing you how exactly you can learn anything so fast that it feels legal. I'm going to be showing you the step-by-step process on how to do this. And I'm going to be citing examples of how I was able to apply this technique and I was able to learn a particular skill and a subject. Please stay on today's video and pay attention as I show you the step-by-step process. Before I show you the step-by-step process on how to do this, I want to share with you a particular thing which has been holding you back from learning anything, and it seems as if you don't have the ability. This particular thing is the emotion. Now, the emotion is something that determines whether you'll be able to learn anything successfully or not. Without the right emotion towards what you want to learn, learning will not take place. And anytime you are trying to learn something at the encoding stage, it's passed through an emotional screening. If you don't have a positive emotion in alignment with what you are trying to learn, and if you cannot encode it, there's no how you'll be able to retrieve it, or there's no how you can even form memory on that particular thing. And there's a particular part of the brain that is responsible for this, which is called the amygdala. The amygdala interprets the information and determines the type of emotion that will be linked to it. Then after this, it goes through the frontal cortex, and at this frontal cortex, that is where the information is linked to what you already know before. So even before it goes to the frontal cortex, anything you are trying to learn encodes into the amygdala. And if you don't have the right emotion at a point towards what you are learning, there is no how it can be able to move to the frontal cortex, and there is no how that memory will be able to be formed. And it is after it moves from the frontal cortex, it moves to the hippocampus. It's a place where memory is formed, and it's a place where memory is transferred to the long-term memory. So in order for it to go through this process successfully, and in order for it to be formed, you have to take cognizance of your amygdala, and you have to be able to trick yourself to have a positive emotion towards what you are learning. And that is how you'll be able to learn anything at any point in time. So stick with me as I teach you on how you can trick yourself to learn anything at all using the power of your emotion. Now, in order for you to have a positive emotion towards what you are learning, you must actually care about what you are learning, and it must be linked to your personal goal or interest. Anything that does not link to your personal goal or interest, there is no how you'll be able to learn, and there's no how you'll be able to care about anything you are learning. It is important that no one should force you to learn anything at all, because if you don't have the interest, it does not link to any personal goal you have in mind, there is no how you'll be able to get that thing into your brain. It is not possible. It will not even pass through any process at all. So it is very important for you to be able to think about how much interest do you have with what you are learning, and how does it actually link to your personal goal. And that is exactly what I'll be explaining in today's video. And the very first thing on how you can use the power of your emotion to connect to what you are learning in order for it to be successful is to connect emotionally to the material. Now, this is what I mean. It must be related to your personal goal. What is that thing that you want to achieve? Whenever you think about such thing, it actually motivates you to learn that thing perfectly. Without you thinking about this thing, there is no how what you'll be able to learn will be successful, because you feel like there's no reason why you should learn it. Then why should you read it, or why should you learn the skill? So it is very important to set your mind and ask yourself questions that, how does this what I'm learning connect to my personal goal? Now let me cite an example. There was a time I was trying to learn video editing. I was able to learn it successfully even when it was so difficult, and I kept going because it was linked to a personal goal, because I knew I needed to know how to edit videos in order for me to post videos on YouTube. So I was forced to learn this thing. Even each time I don't feel like, even each time it feels hard, even if each time I face challenges while learning it, I keep reminding myself of the reason why I should learn the video editing and the end goal. Even while I was in school, I hated mathematics a lot, and anything that has to do with mathematics, I don't want to see it. As much as I had negative emotion towards mathematics, I kept thinking of why I should learn the mathematics. And I kept thinking that if I don't learn this thing, there is no how I'll be able to graduate, and there's no how I'll be able to even do some certain things. So I used that as form of motivation for me to be able to learn mathematics, and the fact that it's linked to my personal goal, I learned it by force, even after the challenges that I faced, and I came out well, and I was able to know it so well because I took care of the emotion and I made sure that it passes through the frontal cortex and also passes through the hippocampus. Another way you can tap into the power of your emotion to be able to learn anything at all is to visualize the success and positive outcome. Anytime you are facing difficulties in anything you are trying to learn, try to visualize how it's going to be when you successfully learn that particular thing. What are the benefits that will come with it when you learn that thing? If you keep having that in your mind, it will motivate you and you want to learn more. Whenever you face challenges, if you don't have this visualization in your brain and the positive outcome, it's not going to be pleasant anytime you are trying to learn. So let me cite an example. When I was in school and I was trying to learn economics, I needed to learn these things successfully in order for me to have good grades and as well have good CGPA, and as well I'll be able to graduate with a very high CGPA. So having that in mind, no matter how difficult it is, and I keep visualizing the success or the positive outcome, it motivates me to keep learning and keep going no matter how difficult it is. So if you are really getting value so far from this video, please like the video and also subscribe to the channel. Now let's go to the next point. Aside from using the power of your emotion to learn anything faster, this is another way you can learn anything faster, and it is by immersion. You should immerse yourself into anything you are trying to learn. And this is what I mean. If you are trying to learn a skill, if you are trying to learn a language or a subject, try as much as possible to create an environment in which we give you an opportunity to be able to learn that thing at any point in time. When you are trying to learn a language, try as much as possible to communicate in that language every time and look for people that you'll be speaking that language to. It is not enough for you to just attend lectures on that particular thing and expect to know it. Apply it in real life situation by immersing yourself, by communicating in that language. Try as much as possible to listen to podcasts, to listen to videos on that particular language. And aside from language, if it's a skill, try as much as possible that most of the hours that you'll be spending is spent in practicing that skill at any point in time. It's not enough for you to just listen to lectures or listen to videos about that particular skill you are trying to learn. Try as much as possible to immerse yourself and practice it again and again and again. You have a project that you are working on and use that project to practice and get better at it. I can remember when I was learning video editing, I got good not just by watching tutorials. I got good by simply editing my own videos at every point in time. And I watch examples of videos that have been edited online and I try to apply it to my own video. And I kept watching series of videos and I kept pinpointing techniques that they actually used when editing their videos, and I applied it to my own. That is exactly how I learned. And if you are learning a subject at all, try as much as possible to immerse yourself into that subject and put yourself in a situation in which you always need to talk about that subject at any point in time. Immersion is a very great way to learn anything faster at any point in time. So anytime you are trying to learn, try to immerse yourself into that situation. Put yourself into it on a daily basis and it will become part and parcel of you and you'll be able to learn faster at any point in time. As much as immersion is very important, it is also important to create a routine and stick to it. Do you want to be learning that thing every 6 hours every day? Do you want to be learning every 3 hours every day? If you just tell yourself you are going to focus on this particular thing for every 2 or 6 hours every day, you have to stick to it and immerse yourself over a period of time. And that is the only way you can learn anything faster. You can time yourself that in the next 2 months, I'm going to be practicing or learning this skill every 3 hours for the next 2 months. So if you stick to it at that point and you have a routine and you keep learning that thing every point in time, you'll be able to learn that thing faster and easier. So I always use video editing as an example because I had zero knowledge when I was learning video editing and I was able to learn certain things about video editing. I could remember that at every point in time, every day, I try as much as possible to practice something. It was even easy for me because I had to upload videos every time and I used that opportunity to to apply what I'm learning to my videos, and I kept doing it at every point in time, and it became part and parcel of me, and it became easy over time. I didn't even have to think about using some techniques before I used it because it became natural. So have a routine and stick to it. That is the only way you can actually learn faster to the extent that it feels illegal. Simulate real world application. Now, it is not like I said, it is not enough to just keep reading theory and to just keep doing theory at every point in time. Try as much as possible to look for how you can apply what you are learning in real life situation, because that is the only way you can learn. You can only learn by doing things every time, and it is through doing you'll be able to point out your mistakes, and as a result of that feedback you'll be able to correct as fast as possible. So if you are just learning passively and you are just trying to read a course or you are trying to learn a course on it, it will take time. But I'm not saying you should not go for lectures or learn a course on it. But as you're learning a course, have a project you are working on and apply what you are learning to that project in real life. And that is the only way you can learn faster at any point in time. But if you keep pretending and keep going through lectures step by step without actually applying what you are learning straight off, you will still go back to learning that thing at any point in time. So the only way you can make it stick is to try as much as possible to simulate real world application and do what you are trying to learn at any point in time. If you really got so much value from what I spoke about, please like the video and also subscribe to the channel. You can also check out this video on other informations you need in order for you to learn faster and easier at any point in time. Thank you so much for watching, and see you on the next one.